and streaming live on the ESPN app.
All right, so we're counting down the days till NBA free agents actually be able to sign with teams, and yet it feels like we've been covering the LeBron watch for a full year. The leading theory this moment had been that he would look to pair with Paul George. And then Friday afternoon, all that started to change as all of us started fantasizing, all of us except Beetle, about LeBron and Kawhi Leonard playing together. But Jalen, I know you are of the belief that there is another bellwether free agent that we should be keeping a very close eye on who could have a very significant impact on what LeBron James does.
Chris Paul. Because when he went from Los Angeles to Houston, that was a seismic shift, not only basketball-wise, but for me, personality-wise, as somebody that intimately knows players and how they operate away from the floor. And I understand how important his family is to him, the same with LeBron James. And I understand that they have a kinship that I can go to Houston, and this could be a legit landing spot for him to also join me. You see how well it went for us this year? We would have probably beat the Golden State Warriors had I not got healthy. Now, if we add you can't go run in L.A., dog.
No state
You got to come. If you going to leave Cleveland, I'm your man. I got it set up. You got to come run with me.
I'll take it even a step farther. Because after the three guys in Miami got together, Wade and Bosh and LeBron got together, subsequently we found out that they had been talking about that since the Olympics. So is it possible that Chris Paul was even having these conversations with LeBron a year ago, not only thinking to himself, this is a place LeBron could join me, but is it possible they've had that conversation as long as a year ago?
Absolutely. And the great thing about today's athlete and taking control of their own destiny, these dudes are smart, they're strategic, they've left less money on the table to get bigger deals elsewhere. They've set it up to where they can become free agents during the same time. Just think about it like this. The Banana Bowl boys are all free agents this summer, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Pretty much. Carmelo Anthony can opt out. He shouldn't opt out. Dwayne Wade as well. So LeBron James has had his fingerprints all over how this generation not only continues to try to elevate themselves basketball-wise, but how they handle their business. And that alone is why look at how the Cleveland Cavaliers redid their roster this year, okay? They traded 6 players, added 4 in 3 different deals. They fired David Blatt after making the NBA Finals. Okay, so it's do or die when you have LeBron James on your team. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Okay, first of all, if you add LeBron James to the Houston Rockets, not to be extreme, but what is the point of the entire regular season? Like, if you add LeBron James to the Rockets, and I know we make this joke the last several years anyways. Oh, it's just going to be the Warriors inevitably, and that's what happened this past year. But if you do that, what's the point? What is the point for everyone else? Because there is no way to catch up at that point.
I got a word for you.
All right.
Rival.
Okay. Well, how does that help me?
That's what the NBA has been missing. And we wanted it to be Golden State against Cleveland,
right?
Except it's 3-1.
Right, but if you have a rivalry this big potentially in the Western Conference, does that not just make the finals moot every year until these two disband?
No, Adam Silver is a lot smarter than that. That makes Adam Silver put the 2 best teams in the NBA
So you think
Finals.
this could actually lead them towards doing away with the conference structure in the playoffs?
You preach it to me.
And seeding them 1 through 16. I'm not preaching, I'm asking a question.
Yes.
because I understand where you're going, and I understand in the short term why you would do it. But to me, that's you were rewriting the entire history of the sport. I mean, everything in the entire history of the sport, going back to the 40s, or at least, I'm not sure exactly how they structured the playoffs at the very beginning, but certainly into the 50s. This thing was structured East versus West. There were 2 conferences. The champions of the conferences played against each other. It is that way in basically every sport.
Don't you think sometimes it's time to evolve?
Yes.
Time to change things up a little bit. Make it better.
Yes.
Make it the best possible product.
Yes.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
You know,
Bill
has had written down on his whiteboard since we began, make Greeny uncomfortable. you finally just did it. Everyone touching me at once. Everyone touching me at one time.
You got the sanitizer over there?
Yeah.
You're in favor of this. Even though 3 years from now, those teams will disband and the best team may wind up being in the West and then the East.
But that's okay, because it'll still give us the best teams at whatever moment that is. I'm okay with it. Because I don't want to go into a world in which every year the finals are inevitable and the ending of the finals is inevitable. And I think this would just continue to add.
I actually agree. I mean, the reality, I'm not sure why I'm fighting this. I actually agree.
Devil's advocate.
If that is the way we go, the downside, I guess, is all about travel, right? We asked Bill for about it when he was here.
Here's how you keep the infrastructure of integrity. There still will be divisions, and that division winner will still qualify as a top seed in the playoffs. That's still going to happen. But what you do is you take the top 8, and then, for me, you reseed them like they do in hockey. As
you go.
I love it.
Correct. Yeah, but there's a million problems. I understand. Listen, I love it from a competitive standpoint, but there are TV issues there involved, right?
Well, figure it out.
They have to have games on
nights. We'll figure it out.
Listen, it's a great idea. From a purely competitive standpoint, that is a great idea. There are a million logistical issues that it creates. If they can figure those out, then I am in agreement with you.
And also, like, the great thing about the NBA, it's ascending so much. Like, we're talking about what if with Golden State and Houston. We ain't even talking about the greatness that's happening in Boston.
Right.
No, and the future that they have in Philly. And so many other great storylines that are taking place throughout the NBA.
We will, though. We will continue talking about those as we go. By the way, SportsCenter tonight, 6 Eastern on ESPN with Sage and Kevin Nagandi. And they got Woj with the latest on the NBA draft. The chances that Kawhi and/or Kyrie get traded before Thursday. And Egypt's superstar Mo Salah leading the Pharaohs against host Russia. SportsCenter 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Might as well get Kyrie and Kawhi in New York.
As we roll along, Julio Jones and the Falcons are not on the best of terms these days. So we will ask Damian Woody how they got to this point and what is next for their relationship.
He was going to be here.
He's going to be
That's
on.
my
Yes,
man,
he is.
50 grand.
But first, Jalen, you're going to like this.
Okay.
We're going to try and